Hello and welcome back to Pine Rivers Park as we're here for the final 9 of the Disconnection Queensland Open presented by Disc Doctor. I'm joined by Ashley Wiedner and today we've got a very special guest, Mr. Dan Frost.
Hey guys, thanks for having me back.
Absolutely. As we take a look at where the scores stand moving into this back 9, we've got Dan tied with Jade at 4 down. And then we've got a 3-way tie at 3 down. So it's a very tight race headed into these last 9 holes. We'll see how we go.
Great. Welcome back, Dan, and good to see you again. Kyle, we're on hole 10. It's a par 3, 141-metre hole. We're heading basically straight out. The big danger on this hole isn't OB. It's those guardian trees ringing the basket well inside the circle. So you want to get yourself up there far enough and hope that there is some sort of alleyway into the basket for your putt.
Yeah, I think that's the approach we've seen mostly is just bomb something out there and kind of deal with the consequences. Bit of turn on it, not quite enough there.
I think at this point we had a tailwind, so you do want to be right, if anything. Being left is a little bit tricky, so I did throw a flippy DD3, but didn't quite get it over, so we'll see how that goes.
Little bit of flip up there in the tailwind, but just not quite pushing straight for long enough as he kicks out to that left side.
Probably gotten far enough down that he'll give himself some sort of a putt.
Timmy turn over.
Just comes up short of the circle there. He should have the best putt so far of the group, but like Ash mentioned in the preview, it's really a bit of plinko through those trees, so get up and assess the lie and see what he's left with.
Looks lovely if it can hold. Yeah, it's a bit short again.
That was the one tree I was trying to miss. Of course. There are a few little gaps there. You just want to scoot something up to the basket.
Yeah, it is a green that gives you a bit of ground play, as we've seen there from Reese's hit off the tree. You can scoot it up there, like just flicking it around those trees nicely.
Bit of an avenue, just not quite giving it the height there from him. Ooh.
Nice little knee knocker out of the way.
Squared up nicely through the trees.
No birdies on the day for this hole, which is quite surprising given the tailwind. But yeah, playing pretty tricky.
Speaking of the concept of no birdies, hole 11 is a pretty elusive hole this weekend. Par 4, 220 metres, and it's not just the distance out to get you, as there's a couple of channels leading into where that red tee pad is, and when you just think you're out of the woods, you've got another 140 metres into a very well-protected green. Just looking to dodge a lot of trees here, Dan?
Yeah, look, par is birdie on this hole, I'd say. I'm going for the backhand gap. Just throw it a little bit too high, or a lot too high. So that's going to be a tricky par from there, I'd say. A lot of people you see take this forehand line or the turnover line. I did that on day one, but I found it a little bit too touchy, and I hit the trees and dropped on the road there. And the road's basically made of rock, so if you land there, you just got no chance of any power with that run up.
Yeah. Blake seems to navigate it well with his forehand, skipping pretty hard across to the right, which should give him a bit better look at the basket. Leave it too far left and you've got this odd hyzer flip up backhanders.
Tim got the stability at the end there. I thought it was going to be heading left, but just fought out of it.
Restragging that one over a bit and not quite fighting out as hard. I think Timmy's got to introduce him to a taipan.
So I'm throwing my flippy putter here. I really just want to get out and turn it, but I unfortunately turf it. And you can just see Reese's view here. There's just, all you can see is trees. So if he gets anywhere on the grass, he'll be doing well.
Flips up and out, and I think it's just going to curl back into the trees slightly.
That's a great effort.
Yeah,
he does about as well as you can do from there. It's very tricky. Timmy taking that backhand. Hitting it out a bit wide, but he will have some sort of approach into the green there.
Blake with one of his venoms. I think this is the flippier of the two and not quite getting it up to flat.
He'll be pretty disappointed with that, I think, because that was the ideal landing zone. I'm going for a roller here just as a bit of a Hail Mary play.
And this is flipped all the way over, curls back towards the basket, and just sits down at circle's edge. My heart was in my mouth there for a moment as it flirted with the OB, but...
Your heart was in your mouth. Tim left himself a little bit cut off here, but he's done pretty well to get it up near the basket.
And it sits down nicely, settles beautifully. Reese with a long putt.
Really tough if you're outside the circle on this hole because there's so many trees in the way, and they're in perfect spots for where your disc tend to land, so you often have a little straddle putt or a bit of an obstruction, just enough to get into your head.
How did you find a way to airball that?
We can see that OB sneaking up really fast at the back there too, especially on Tim's putt. So it is, I guess, a concern on this hole too, especially with that big approach that is required if you want to push for the birdie. Which there was only one player on the day that did manage to birdie this hole, Clayton Beck. So shout out there, Clayton. Well played.
Yeah, playing .33 over par, which is honestly a bit lower than I would have thought. But
well, I'm dragging the average up here with my bogey card. Look, it's one of those things that it's a very hard birdie, and if you get in trouble, it's an extremely hard par. But if you play it fairly well, you really do want to be getting par on this. It's just staying out of trouble, really.
Yeah, I think we saw Sarah on day one play it the more disciplined way and just taking 90-meter shots down the middle and ending up with par. So pretty spot on.
Yeah, so over the road now to hole 12, again a par 4, 234 metres. Players will be looking to push out as straight as they can and as long as they can. You've got OB right, which is a path, and looking to put it up near that red basket or beyond for a nice long approach into the green. Again, guarded by trees and slightly uphill too. So we'll see what Blake can do here. I'm very relieved they're all wearing different hats or have different headgear, Reese, with none of these Heiser Flight guys, because it makes it much easier to tell which one's which.
Yeah, they let me know at the start of the round it was 3v1. So did my best to fend them off. This, by the way, was one of my favourite holes. It was a safari hole, actually, joining two of the blue public layouts.
All right.
Very challenging. I'm going for a roller here because if you do get up there, it's a really good approach from the left-hand side.
Just didn't quite flip up enough.
Well, I can't tell if that's
did the same thing yesterday. Unfortunately, I lost my main roller disc on hole 2 in the practice round, and so struggled a little bit with the rollers in the comp.
Right.
Good reaction times there.
picked up.
But yeah,
picked up the
this
kid.
was a fantastic hole to play. It was really challenging and really fun.
Yeah, I think my favourite part of it was a bit of the differentiation of hitting lines early in the flight to hitting lines late. I feel like it's not a thing a lot of holes have here in Australia, or like especially Brisbane, really having to be aware of how your disc is losing speed. I think that's
one of the great things when you get up to the approach shot, the basket's tucked in behind the tree line about 15 meters. It's actually quite hard to see the basket from the fairway, and you really have to have a lot of control to get it to stop on the top of the hill where the basket is. Timmy's actually gone a little bit right here, which is very, very tricky. I was there on day one, and there's really not much of a line out there if you're a bit short of the tree line. So hopefully he pushed up far enough to have a look.
Yeah, the locals definitely recommend being on that left-hand side for that approach in, for sure.
They probably don't recommend as far left as I ended up. Blake,
I skipped all the way up.
that is a great approach.
Wow.
True enough to have a putt.
Yeah, I think he's 12 metres right of the basket, just short of pin high.
Yeah, good shot.
And all I can do here is really just pitch out as far as I can and
That's exactly what
take medicine.
We'll have a glass of water at the water station provided by the tournament right near your shot there. Shout out Queensland Open. Yeah, so while still not fun, we see that left-hand avenue into the basket a little more open than what Tim's probably faced with on the right-hand side there.
Yeah, Reese with a very challenging putt, just trying to lay up through the trees. As we take a look at Tim struggling through those trees, but should tidy up
Blake
soon
for
enough.
birdie here.
Cashes.
Wow.
Yeah, okay, Blake.
Blake doing Blake things.
Yeah.
Hugging the basket.
Saying thank you. That was a great birdie as we take another quick look at that one. Really an awkward straddle stance. Puts just enough width on it for it to drag back into the basket. That's a great birdie there, joining Jade and Dave as the other two birdies for the day. David,
well, it's one of those things they tell you a frisbee can do that, but actually making the frisbee do what Blake just made it do, as Dan cans that putt, is the other story. But sorry, Kyle, you were saying Dave birdied that all 3 days?
Yeah, the only player to birdie hole 12 in every round.
That is an achievement.
Hole 13, 99-metre par 3. Really a couple of main gaps here. We've got a baby flex to the right-hander or a hyzer flip up, pushing through, a bit of ground play there, looking to skip through all of the trees and just funnel down to the basket. Basically, a couple of trees to miss to really avoid bogey, but hitting that line for birdie is quite the feat. Blake puts this inside a bit, fights through quite a bit, but ends up in those last set of trees.
This is one of those par 3s I was talking about in the front 9 where you really just want to get out and chew off some distance. Otherwise, it's a pretty tricky par. But if you do get out and get funneled down to the basket, the birdie's definitely there. Fortunately, Reese just hitting early there. But not too bad a kick. Hopefully, you should be able to get up and down from there.
Yeah, Reese's approach game has been looking pretty strong so far, so should be a fair chance to save par there. Tim with that flex pushes all the way through.
Backhand Bowen at it again.
going to be looking forward to taking these backhands back to Inverleigh like a souvenir he's bought on holiday and showing everybody his new trick, Timmy.
Yeah, don't worry. Inverleigh Gold will quickly shake that out of him.
As Blake, from an awkward position, gets it up there.
I was a little disappointed with that attempt there. I really didn't want to have it fade so much, but... Oh, well done, Blake.
Yeah, very good save from Blake there. Was consulting his lie behind the tree for quite a while and managing to get out and save threes. Good game.
Lovely putt.
Thanks, mate.
Corner pocket through and through.
I'm not sure it was that lovely. When a lovely putt
Went in.
comes to... Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Tim joining 6 others birding that hole today. Playing just a pinch under par as we...
Head over to hole 14 now. So, surprise, surprise, we've got some trees to navigate off the tee again. We've got OB right, which can sneak up on you. But really, again, looking to get out of these trees down the fairway and give yourself a nice little hyzer line or forehand line into the basket, which is slightly raised on a, I guess you'd call it a ridge up the back there. And a little bit of standing water to sort of navigate around the green as well.
Tim going forehand roller.
Get out, did it? Oh, there it is.
Just appears out in front of the red tee there. Made it through all the trees, so goal number 1 accomplished.
Good time as Blake takes his traditional roller play on this hole.
Just hits early and kicks straight right. Love.
A hole like this, it's a good time for me to give a shout out to Sam Barnett, who, once he finished his round, followed our cameramen around and acted as a spotter for us and the card. So thanks, Sam Barnett. Shout out there.
Yeah.
Reese piercing the gap with the airline. Finding this gap that Blake's lined up through.
Yeah, Blake in an unfamiliar position for him today.
Buddy. Yeah, wanting to get onto that one a bit more and have some sort of look for birdie.
So I'm trying to crash it in over the trees here. I just misjudged the distance and pulled up short. So I'm in the mud pit for a birdie look. Tim will join me.
Yeah, it reminds Tim of hole 14 Dam at home.
If there was water there, I'm sure he'd have a swim.
He has actually gone in there recently. I think he wore his wetsuit, but he's enjoyed himself. Can't remember, some sort of bet, I believe. The tee off, you might be able to listen back on the tee off and find out what that was all about as Reese puts it up nicely there.
Clean release there from Tim, just a bit short.
Looked beautiful out of the hand.
How are those volleys taking the mud?
Just perfectly, just in time for the next hole. I didn't get along with the tee pad on the next hole, so I'm just putting a nice little bit of mud in the grip there just to put some extra doubts in my mind.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of conversations recently about disc golf shoes and high stack runners versus low stack runners and Terex versus anything else. Is there a theory behind the volleys at all, Dan, or is that just habit?
Well, I've switched around a few different brands. I've spent a lot of money on shoes and I ripped through them pretty quickly. So one of the leading reasons I go for volley is they're very cheap. and very replaceable.
Fantastic theory. I love it.
Hole 15 now. We've got 102 metre par 3. Keyword being tunnel shot. We've seen Blake pipe it the last couple of rounds. We want to try something similar to that. Maybe a flex line even rather than that straight shot. Whatever gets you straight 100 metres, we'll take it. This hole wants it. Bit of OB on the left, but should hit any trees in front of that before we find any of it. Tim showing that flex line and ooh.
Up there beautifully. Yeah.
I saw Blake pipe this A1 and 2. I think it's the Buzz.
Yeah.
Nice little slip up, 100 metres of power on it. Listen for the sonic boom when he releases it.
A bit more height this time, and that's on a rope. Yeah, not quite as close as the other couple of days, Blake, but we'll give it to you.
Yeah, it's impressive. And there is a reel we've put out there with those 3 shots side by side, and they are just carbon copies of each other.
Unfortunately, I pulled that one right a little bit. This hole had my number all weekend. I never got a good tee shot off, unfortunately, but it's a fantastic hole.
Yeah. It's Reese. Hits early left there.
We're in
There's a lot of room for creativity from down this hill.
And I'll tell you what, that is a very rare forehand from me. And I'm pretty happy with the result, to be honest.
Great bit of snap on it. Came out clean.
About that, but not much to look at. Reese is on the other side with not much to look at. I was here yesterday. It's very tough.
Look, it's no Flutter Boy Jade Brady forehand, that is for sure.
He just cut rolls down the hill there, so hopefully he has a look at the basket. Looks like he does.
Good bid, but just a tad shy. This is a great result from where you were.
Yeah, I can't complain. Oh, I managed to cash it off the top band.
Let's go. That's a great pass save there.
We've seen this basket be very non-compliant this weekend with discs wanting to get into it. So excellent putt to cash. And Blake, 3 birdies in a row. Same shot. Same carbon copies. Take my hat off to that.
Yeah, he said to me walking up to the tee that he had a bit of pressure walking up to the tee pad of like, I've done this 2 days in a row. I really don't want to mess it up now. But yeah, very relieved as he was cashing that 3rd birdie.
Yeah, well, I wonder if it would have made for a better side-by-side shot if he had have shanked it, hard right on the last day. As we move to hole 16, we've got blind basket from the tee, ringed by trees and protected by OB, as you can see on the right there. And OB left is a lake which comes up really fast to a disc hyzering out. So players are just going to be wanting to push it out right and let it crash in through those trees, I would imagine, and try and avoid the OB. We had a spotter on this hole all weekend. There was a gentleman that played early and sat on a deck chair and just helped out every card that came through. So I don't know the gentleman's name, but shout out to him and all the volunteers from this event.
It's worth saying this was one of the best run events I've ever been to. Lots of volunteers, lots of people around just having a good time watching. It was very well run. So yeah, massive shout out to everyone involved. It was great.
Yeah, 100%. It really felt like you were playing something special, I feel like, this weekend. And plenty of stuff to do after hours and on course and plenty of volunteers everywhere. So, yeah, wholeheartedly agree.
Ooh, Blake skipping all the way through the trees into circle 1.
Just transplanting his hole 15 tee shot to this hole.
Isering out of what I thought was early, but that's beautifully weighted.
He's just trying to hold on. And checks up. Should have a good look at that basket for a nice bird.
And capitalises on that. Oh, Reese.
Off the rim.
Jog it in, son.
Absolutely. Bit of a
Bit of a head
tipping
wobble.
the distance. Yeah.
And
If
rightly
Tim can do
so.
Oh, I'd be disappointed with that one, Timmy. Blake putting with a lot of confidence at the moment. We saw last round he had a few struggles, but seems to have cleaned up and got his zip back.
Yeah, 3 in a row now. 2 in a row. He's putting it together.
Just having a bit of a moment with the basket there.
Yeah, Timmy, do you mind if I
take
just
my
run on the
disc.
train without you? Go for it, Kyle.
Tim's nattering on about the basket, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, that was actually me giving Tim a bit of a crack for a star frame without him.
Ooh.
He pulled this at Barwon Valley a while ago with Ryan Michelle, and he was on the bag, and I figured it was a perfect time to give Timmy a bit of his own medicine. As we move into hole 17. An island par 3, 72 metres. The island is circle 1, and outside of that you will find yourself in hazard. The big thing here is it's rather a blind tee shot, only being able to see the top of the basket, and this green sloping down from front to back. So anything that comes in with too much pace will very easily find itself skipping outside of that island.
It was a really good island hole. I think, a lot of tournaments have an island hole just because you kind of tend to have one. But this one was really interesting with the undulation and the blind basket. And also the hazard, which is not that common for an island hole. Generally, you have a drop zone. But I really like that, genuine chance to save par. If your shot was a little bit off, but not terribly, you did have a genuine basket.
One of those holes we saw a lot of players attack completely differently as well, which makes for great viewing. Go ahead, Kyle.
Reese, a bit more flex out of the hand as he needs to sit down.
Gonna check up.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to build it up.
You know what would be funny if it never rolled?
That checking the shot out of the hand, which it looked like he did, and just floated it up there, paid off with that roll by the look of it. I'm sure that's what he was thinking off the tee.
Yeah, you wanted the uphill putt. Tim going with his type, and he loves this disc because it doesn't tend to skip and flare as much. And it looks to have paid off. See if Blake can keep it rolling. Yeah,
Lovely.
Nice birdie there from yourself.
Thank you.
2 in a row.
Unheard of.
Reese making that comebacker and saving the 3.
And a nice birdie from Tim. So hole 18, final hole, great finishing hole. Looks fantastic with the highway behind it and all the lovely flags out. So we're pushing 120 metres down into a valley and then up again slightly onto the green, which does slope away a little bit to the left. So we've got some poplars I don't really know trees, but I think they're poplars or something tall and skinny out to the right there. They're not poplars, Dan's shaking his head. That can make it hard for this to get through onto the green there. Dan, what sort of tree is it? Do you know?
Couldn't tell you, mate. I don't think
You just know it's not a poplar. Yeah, okay.
Jade would be screaming at the video right now as an arborist.
Right, of course. Well, look, if you do know what sort of trees they are up on the right there, hit us up in the comments.
Get a good look as we look
there
around.
We go.
Dan says if Blake can do it, I can do it too.
That's the plan. This one a bit inside what I was trying to do. But do manage to get up there, edge of circle. Unfortunately,
gallery love it.
Yeah. Bit of foreshadowing, maybe.
Well, I do prefer the step putt when it's on offer.
Jeez, this catch cam's really loving the gallery.
Yeah, look, it's great to see, as you know, obviously Chase Card here, second last card for the day, and all the other players finishing their rounds and sticking around to, watch this championship race.
Ooh.
Good big effort, Tim.
Anyone would love to cash that putt in front of the gallery as it built there. So Reese just slides past and rolls and stop. Yeah.
Oh, unlucky. He'll be disappointed with that race. He had a really good tournament. To finish with a bogey would be a bit tough. I've gone top band again. In Canberra, we count those, but we play by the...
Oh, what is that?
I think he deserves that after some of the luck he got earlier in the tournament.
That's a Simon Lizotte trick shot if I've ever seen one. How that happened, I have no idea. We have Tim and Reese tapping out. Team highs a flight. And that brings an end to our Queensland Open tournament. We had a bit of a hot round there from Blake, ending up at 6 down for the round. Dan, handy 3 down, couple out there. Reese 1 over and Tim 2 under. And really pretty close one at the top with Jade, Aaron and Paddy fighting it out those last 6 holes, with Paddy coming home with 6 straight birdies to get up back into contention. But ultimately, Jade taking it out 2 shots clear at 8 down.
Well done, Jade.
Yeah, fantastically played tournament from Jade and all the others at the top there. So it's been wonderful having you here, Dan. I've been calling this John Marsden Day in the lead up to it, being the 3rd day, the frost, for all the John Marsden Tomorrow Series fans out there. My co-commentators shaking their heads as they don't have any idea what I'm talking about. Hopefully some of our viewers will hit me up in the comments if you do. But it's been wonderful having you here, Dan.
Very clever, Ash. My last name is Frost, so
well, the best jokes are the ones that need to be explained, Dan. So I appreciate that. But it's been wonderful having you here, mate. Pleasure filming you for the last couple of days and having you on our cards, and certainly making the effort to come in and commentate for us and tell us about your round. It's been wonderful.
Well, thank you to both of you guys. You're doing a great job. Coverage was amazing. The tournament was great, and looking forward to the next one.
Awesome. Can't
Absolutely.
wait.
We'll hope to see you again. All right. Until next time, like, subscribe, share with your disc golf friends, get that parked coverage, get that Australian disc golf coverage out there. Seek it, find it, watch it, like, subscribe, and until next time, park it.